Hey everybody. Wow, you say. Is Z actually uploading a video to the channel 2 weeks in a row? This is amazing. This hasn't happened for months. Wow. Yeah, I know. Thank you very much. Yeah, I haven't been very consistent or responsible or a lot of things, but I am being right now. So, yeah. This week's topic is whether or not people around us respect our gender identity. And if they don't, what do you do? Like, do we cut them off? Do we just deal with it? Something in between? So, generally, for me, most of the time, people in my life do not respect my gender identity. I'm lucky in that no one really harasses me for it, but it's not respected either. Last year, at my old school, I managed to make some friends, and they all respected me. They used my pronouns. They almost never messed up, and when they did, they didn't like try to, make a bunch of excuses. There was a little bit of excusing, but they weren't like, "Oh my god, it's so hard to get used to these pronouns. Like, you really should ease up. Like, you don't understand. It's just such a big change," or whatever, complaining about using my pronouns. They were not like that. And I was really happy with that. Yeah, when I was at my old school, it was a new city. I didn't have any family there, so I really didn't talk to my family that much. So I didn't spend a lot of time being misgendered by them. And I, of course, was misgendered by strangers, but once I got to know people, like, it was just teachers and, like, some, people at restaurants and sometimes my classmates if there was a group project. But other than that, most of the people I actually hung out with either knew my pronouns or they were, like, part of the queer community or knew enough that they either didn't gender people if they could help it, or if they did, there were some people where I corrected them and then they just took it well. Excuse me. They took it well, and they were just like, "Oh, sorry," and then after that they didn't misgender me. So that was great, but that's not the situation here. Some people in groups that I'm involved with have gendered me correctly, but I haven't actually made many friends, and I have a couple friends that already were here, but first of all, like, it's not like I'm hanging out in a group with them and people who know. Like, the only time I'm hanging out in a group with them is if I'm with one of, like, my friend and then a bunch of their friends who don't know about my pronouns or my gender. So yeah. And then, of course, there's my family, and I mean, they're like, I guess they're tolerant, they're totally okay with me, like, going to LGBT groups and mentioning stuff, as long as I don't bring up my pronouns, because then my mom takes it as a criticism. But some of my more like extended family and family friends don't even know. So, yep, I pretty much only get properly gendered on the internet and occasionally at these at events that I go to. I mean, no one's getting mad at me or harassing me about my gender and my pronouns, so it's not that bad. Like, it could be a lot worse, but I definitely miss hearing myself referred to with the right pronouns. It also sucks because just being in like a bigger city and having to use public transportation means I end up talking to a lot of strangers. But strangers misgendering me doesn't bother me nearly as much as people I know. I feel like it's the worst when it's like people I know and are a constant part of my life, but not the people that are closest to me. And I don't know why, because it seems like, it coming from my family or like from a friend would hurt the most. But if it's like, I don't know, like a teacher or like a family friend, that seems to hurt worse. And I think it's maybe because it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's because, my close family, my friends, they all know, and they're like, I mean, I know that they're totally okay with it, even though they're not really respectful. I don't know. There's probably some more psychological explanation or something like that. But yeah. Oh, what do I do if people are not respectful? Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not cutting them off. I think it would be. I don't know if I would do it differently. If the situation was different, like, I mean, I'm not even like bringing it up with my family because there's already so much conflict that like them misgendering me is really low on my list of grievances, and I'm just so wrung out from all the fighting and the talking about the fighting and the scolding and the... So it's like, I really don't want to talk about anything, let alone bring up another problem that one or both sides are gonna get upset about. It's like, I'm really tired, I don't know. If I get to a point where I am both stable in my living situation and in, like, I don't know. And I have, like, I don't know, freedom, I guess. Just independence. That's the word I'm looking for. If I'm independent and then I'm talking to family and they misgender me, family that I'm out to, I may say something about it because I feel like, my main problems are solved, so like I have time to actually bring up this and it's not going to cause more problems than it's worth. But I don't know. But I'm not gonna cut off my family, even if they like refuse to try to not misgender me, as long as they're not like harassing me about it. It's like, I don't know. I guess it's, I mean, you can choose your family in a general sense, as in, if you don't, what are words? You can have like a family of choice, but, and you know, your old family, you can choose to take them out of your life once you're an adult. But it's not it's not completely about choice even then. Like, even with families of choice, both you and the other people in the family have to make an agreement, like have to have some sort of agreement. I mean, not like a contract or anything, but some sort of, you guys are in the same place and you agree to have like this sort of familial relationship. And with the having your old, you know, blood family and not having, like, choosing to not have them in your life, it's, you couldn't choose whether they were your family in the first place, and it's hard to cut them out of your life if you're not going to cut everyone out of your life. Like, because you know, it's hard not to be family with someone who's family with your family. Yeah. So, but like with friendship, it's all about choice. Like, you both made the choice to be friends in the first place. And the moment that like someone or one or both of you don't want to be friends, then you're not friends anymore. And yeah, it's really awkward and, you know, can cause a lot of drama to be friends, to have an ex-friend who's also friends with your friend. But it's not like it's hard, but it's not by nature hard. Because it's, you know, it's really easy to divide your interaction. Well, not easy, but like, it's definitely, there are situations which make it hard, but there's no inherent struggle in separating your friendships with different people from, you know, going into the same space and time and stuff like that. But with family, because you can't really divide up family life into, you know, neat little sections like you can a social life, because social life is very controlled, and you know, you go out and you invite people and stuff like that. But family life is everything, the stuff that you can't control, the, you know, where you're living, you know, your job, what you eat, who leaves the toilet seat up, shit like that cannot be divided up easily. So if my friends, I don't know, if I had close friends and they kept on misgendering me and they just refused to keep on, like, they refused to try, or I felt like they weren't trying to gender me correctly, I don't know if I would cut them off, but I would slowly get mad at them. Especially if they were like, see, you know, I'm not used to having like a group of friends. Like, last year, my old school, that was pretty new to me, hanging out in groups. But even then, it usually was small groups, like 3 or 4 people. So, like, if it was my friends, like, misgendering me in front of each other, as opposed to things that have happened a lot, like friends misgendering me to, I don't know, their family or strangers, you know, waitresses, my family, Well, if my family was actually doing the right thing and gendering me correctly, and then my friend misgendered me to my family, then I think I would be a little pissed. But I guess it's like, I don't know. I don't think, I mean, I kind of doubt I will ever have the experience of a friend not being willing to try not to misgender me. I just because like I'm already at a point where I'm secure in my identity, and I know that I'm not really I'm not in the closet. There's some people, some family members who don't know, but it's more like a lack of a good opportunity to tell them, and just not much interaction in the first place anyway. I'm not I'm not keeping it from anyone. If I was, that would complicate things. But I'm not. So I don't think any new friends I make, I think that I would notice if they had any signs of that. And I generally, I have pretty good taste in people, so I don't think any of my friends would be that much of a jerk. And if they were, I would probably get super pissed. And if they didn't, make up and apologize, then I probably would cut them off. But I don't think that's going to happen. And with the friends I have now, really don't have, I just have like a couple of friends. And even those who do misgender me, I think if the situation was right, so that it came up and I like corrected them, then they would take it to heart, and they would try to do better. And yeah, so far all the family members I've come out to have been like, okay, I don't get it, and I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do the pronoun thing. Like, but some of them say like, oh, I'll try. Some of them don't even bring it up at all. But none of them are really harassing me or mean about it. And I really don't think that any of them would. Yeah. So I think like if they were like that, maybe I would get mad at them for it, but if they're just gonna misgender me, and not really make an effort to gender me correctly, but not be mean about it, like, I mean, it's annoying and pisses me off a little bit, but I'm not gonna cut them off for that. Yeah. As for you, dear viewer, whatever decisions that you make about cutting people off or getting mad at them or having discussions about how, misgendering is disrespectful and stuff like that, each situation is pretty unique. So I can't give like any advice that would really be helpful to all or even most people, except that you deserve to be gendered correctly. Like, you don't, like, being misgendered or being disrespected because of your gender, you don't deserve that. Like, if there's a situation where your family or your friend really wants to do right by you, but they're just not managing it, like, I understand if you're not gonna get mad and if you don't want to rock the boat or put too much pressure on your family member, you know, especially if it's like if it's a language different situation. But that doesn't mean that you deserve it. If it's if it's an accident, if they can't help it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you don't deserve that still. Like, if it's their fault, if it's the universe's fault, if it's their fault and the universe's fault, you don't deserve it. You deserve better. And hopefully, whatever method you use, you can find people who will be totally respectful of your gender, including not misgendering you ever. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I think I'm done with the video. Yeah. And this is... I was gonna say, like, Merry Christmas or something, Merry Early Christmas, but oh wow. It's exactly a week till Christmas, which is pretty cool. And I think Hanukkah ended at the beginning of the week. And, winter solstice is, I think, in, like, a couple of days. So happy winter solstice. I don't know, man. Whatever. Oh, because Christmas is exactly a week from now, I will be able to wish you Merry Christmas on Christmas Day, assuming I actually can make a video on that day, which is depressingly likely because I'm going to be staying here, and it's not like I have any Christmas traditions here, and, like, what would I do anyway? And I mean, I don't have any stuff to make presents, and I can't afford any presents, and, like... Okay, wait, no, I'm getting way off topic. Yeah. Happy generic winter holiday. And I'll see you next week.